When the pain's high enough, most people can build up the motivation to endure a 10-week, 20-week, whatever it may be, diet and get somewhat in shape. Bodybuilders are very good examples. They get peeled, not long after, they're back to their swollen self. Normal general population, they'll lose a stone. For you Americans, that's like 15 pounds, and others will lose more. But what we see is nearly every single person put the fat back on. They either put the fat back on or they put on more than where they started and they end up fatter. Why is this? Because you're fighting biology. When you drop body fat, your body releases hunger hormones that will push you to go and eat and put that fat back on. Now, on my Instagram and TikTok, I get a lot of people commenting, I'm lean year round. Listen, this video is not for ectomorphs. This video is not for hard gainers or people that struggle to eat. This is for general population that have had the reward pathway hijacked in their brain from hyper palatable junk. Yeah, what we're seeing now is everybody's fat. When I go out and around the city, when I'm in London, when I'm in Seville, when I'm in Mallorca, nearly everybody is holding excess fat, if not way more. That is because our appetite regulation is not well equipped to deal with hyperpalatable junk in our sedentary lifestyle. And even good dieters like myself, you know what I mean, even I struggle. But if you've watched my videos on Instagram, TikTok, you know I made my appetite regulation way worse by doing huge, ginormous dreamer bulks, absolutely destroying my relationship with food, and then doing crash diets and too long diets, falling into binge purge cycles. But, you know, forget about even doing that. I'm helping hundreds, if not thousands of men, and it doesn't matter where they start. If they're not a hard gainer, there's a certain amount of fat they can lose semi-comfortably, even comfortably. That's fine. But they're never at a point where they're happy. They want to lose way more fat than that. They probably want to be lean. They probably want to be diced. You know, we're living in 2025. Everybody wants to be shredded for social media because all the girls are going for giga chads that are mad in shape, yeah? And what you're finding is everybody, if they muster up enough motivation, focus, discipline, maybe they've hit a low point in their life and they're like, right, I'm not happy with how I look. They've just gone through a breakup or whatever it may be. They've noticed themselves in the mirror or in a picture somebody took of them. They're noticing their gut spilling over, spilling out. They do it. They will smash that diet. Most of them will finish the diet with a 2-week holiday. Worst thing you can do. Most of them will finish with a cheat. Again, the worst thing you could do. I'm going to reference AJ Morris. I see him like a decade ago finish his bodybuilding preps by eating like oatmeal porridge. This guy is an animal, yeah? He knows not to finish a bodybuilding prep with a cheat meal. Why do so many bodybuilders swell back up? Because they finish with a cheat, you know what I mean? It's like a relapse on a drug. They go crazy and they're back up to where it was. So basically, long story short, everybody is struggling to diet, and the people that can diet like myself and all these fitness guys, they can get lean every summer, but they can't maintain it, right? So let's just take me, for example. I got really fat due to all these eating problems, and at the end of 2023, I tried Retatrutide, and it completely changed everything. I went from, you know, having problems with eating, overeating, enjoying food too much, being able to diet down all the time. I do it every year, but swelling back up, never being able to maintain it. In comes Retatrutide, everything gone like that. Man, the first 4 weeks, zero appetite. I was even struggling to eat, yeah. So I was just eating cottage cheese and apples. Next few months, it was very expensive at this point, at least where I was getting it. And, you know, I was still having to rinse anywhere from 2 to 4 milligram. And, you know, I got pretty lean pretty quickly because I'm a very experienced dieter. And it weren't long until, you know, I dropped the body fat, hunger hormones increased. They were battling the reta. And I was having to go back to using my, you know, typical stick to your diet methods and practices, high volume foods, lots of veg, lots of egg whites, lots of liquids, you know. But as the years have gone on, it's getting more and more affordable. I'm on anywhere from 5 to 10 a week now. And I literally walk around, you've probably seen it on my Instagram and TikTok, I walk around lean effortlessly. I don't think about food. There's no risk of binging. I mean, there was periods where, you know, there was some weird thing going on in my head where I still had this urge to binge. Like I'd overeat and be like, right, back in the old days when I'd go binge mode, I'd even try to do it, but I was like, this just don't feel right. I'm not enjoying it. I'm getting too full. There's like no dopaminergic response from the food that you typically get, which sends you a bit crazy. You know, the binging's gone. You know what I mean? I did a crash diet, which I'd never do, literally basically forced to by this miracle peptide because I couldn't eat. Did a crash diet with zero risk of binge purging. You know what I mean? And now, you know, I can still eat bad and go over my calories. Like, I've been eating out all the time for the last 2 weeks, and I think I've put on a tiny bit of fat because I didn't really know what I was doing. But that was just bad mistakes. And, you know, even at points I'm eating a meal and I'm full, but I don't want to waste the money, so I'll get it done. But now I'm back locked in a good routine. That fat is going to fly off me. I've ate barely anything today. I've had a brunch. You know what I mean? I've just had some chicken thighs and boiled eggs. I probably won't eat enough of that until before bed. I now walk around lean effortlessly. When I first got lean, started spamming my social media. You know, I've semi-blown up on Instagram and TikTok, all because of this. I went from always trying to get lean to then try and grow my socials, never being able to do it, always putting off growing my socials, so I'd always end up big and fat. You know, I'd have like a 2-week period where I'd get loads of sick photos. Bang, back to being fat. But now, massively improved my dating life because the pictures I've got are unbelievable. Using on Hinge and Tinder, you know, the likes and the matches just went through the roof. You know what I mean? Growing my socials was effortless because, you know what I mean? I loved how I looked. I wanted to post. I've always wanted to post. I posted like crazy. You know what I mean? When you're sharp for good physique, when you're talking about fitness, dating, men's help like me, it does nothing but help. It gives me insane confidence. I never really think about food ever now other than, right, I've not eaten for ages. I feel like I've got a little bit of low blood sugar. I should probably go eat. I should probably eat my protein goal. I don't want to starve myself too much. It puts me in too much of light sleep. I've got a sleep condition. I have to manage a lot of things to keep that as good as possible. Guys, this thing is a miracle. It's completely changed my life. I'm on month 19, going on 20. I started it mid-December 2023. You know, I'm called the Retatrutide King on Instagram because I talk about it so much. I've helped so many men become aware of it. So many men has turned their life around from obesity to now in shape, if not lean, almost shredded. Listen, guys, this is a miracle. And of course, there's predecessors. Mounjaro, semaglutide, they're pretty good as well. You know, Mounjaro is almost as good, but Reta seems to be, you know, the GOAT at this. It's unbelievable. It's changing so many lives, guys. This is what it did to me. I went from basically a big fat mess who struggled with eating problems for the last 10 years to now walking around lean effortlessly. Guys, this is no joke.